All right, where were we? We were looking at this beautiful gloss black 65 turbocharged Corsa, black, silver cove, or argent. 1 year only pinstripe in paint on the 65s only. They also had a color called Evening Orchid, which Cadillac also shared. Looks like a fresh restoration. Turbocharged. My turbo differs from this one in that I've got a high performance crown exhaust housing. My inlet housing has a double vaned E-flow impeller that has a housing that's been milled out to make it fit. And I've got a big Rochester 4-barrel, which is ridiculous. I'm going to put a Weber on, I think. Oh, wait a minute. Just found some parts here. Spare parts. And this little clip goes... not sure where. We'll just put it in the spare tire for now. I don't want to get caught messing around with someone's Corvair Corsa. Turbocharged. Laser straight. Wow, black. 1965 sports sedan. Arguably the nicest looking body of any Corvair. I love it. I wanted to get a sports sedan and I ended up finding a 66 Fitch Sprint, so much for the sports sedan. I guess a Fitch Sprint beats out a sports sedan. What I wanted was a 140, 4-speed, air-conditioned sports sedan. I was going to buy something and make it because they're very rare. I saw one in California a couple of years ago, made a lot of videos of that particular car, white with a turquoise top or a light green turquoise top. This has got 164 engine, which they had from 64 up. This is a 65, 110 horsepower, as opposed to the stock 95. Has a differential dipstick. 2 years only, 64, 65, I believe. 66, they went to a different manual transmission. They went to a Muncie as opposed to a Saginaw, very similar to the full-size Chevys, but adapted to fit a Corvair, of course. So the 66s, they say, have a much stiffer feel, but they're bulletproof. 65s glide into gear, but they're not as robust. 1964 Spider in 63, 64, 62, 63, 64. They called the high-performance model Turbo. They called it a Spider. In 65, 66, they renamed it a Corsa and gave it a standard 140 horsepower 4-carb engine, optional with the turbocharged engine. So you could get the 4-carb engine in any model, 65, 66, end of 67, and 68, 69. You can get the 4-carb engine. This is a 64, possibly the nicest looking body because it has the aluminum anodized trim. I like it, but I also like my 62. I like the 62 grill bar better. This is a 64 grill bar. I like the 62 interior. It's got deeper pleats. We're going to take a peek at this and hope we don't get in trouble. 64 interior is a slightly darker shade of red than the 62, and the 62 pleats are vertical and they're wider with higher relief. This is modified. 4-speed, the shifter's been straightened. It's got a small wood wheel, spider dash. 64 had map pockets, as did the Corsa in 65. Beautiful car. Oops. Don't scratch when you put your hand through the door handle. It's got some pinstriping done by hand. Door edge guards, proper 64 mirror, 63, 64, 65. Gas door guard and more pinstriping. 64 has chrome windshield wipers, and this fellow has put on some black tape, possibly because he gets a reflection. Now, this is a correct 64 chrome, but the arm that holds the blade is 67 and up etched, acid etched to get rid of the sheen, because Ralph Nader said it was dangerous. And this guy just proves it because he's got black tape to stop the reflection. This is the correct 64 rubber arm holder. It's got a mirror on the right side, which is very, very rarely seen. It's actually even rare to see a mirror on the driver's door up until mid-65 when GM made it standard. Got enough details yet? Lots to know if you like Corvairs. Lots of models. Different taillights in different years. Great to see all these Corvairs. At the 2011 recall. There it is, in the flesh. small flesh. 63. On top of a 64. At the recall, East Syracuse. Corvair 700. Before Chevy figured out that the Monza was going to be the big seller, they had a 500 cheapie, they had a 700 with a band of stainless steel around the belt, all the way around. This is a 1961 Corvair Lakewood. It's a station wagon, but Chevy called the station wagon a Lakewood. 1 year only. In 62, they dropped the Lakewood nomenclature, and before you know it, they stopped making station wagons altogether, and they converted the production to Chevy 2s. Standard issue, red box. This is made in Willow Run and Ypsilanti, Michigan. Production 20,000, weight 2555, 80 horsepower, 145 cubic inches, twilight turquoise and white. This was the top of the line model for 61. The station wagon was only produced for 2 years, 62 being the last and limited production. As I was mentioning, they converted the line to Chevy 2 production. The Corvair station wagon just wasn't where it was at. And look at that, on the radio push buttons, Chevy, which recently Chevrolet tried to drop completely. Dealers were not to refer to Chevrolets as Chevys, but that went over real bad. So now they're called Chevys, and Chevrolet even advertises them on the radio and TV as Chevys. 1961 Lakewood 700 station wagon. We've got two of them. This has got the beautiful cloth interior. Doesn't have a padded dash. Doesn't even have push-button radio. This is the loaded model. It's got push-button radio. It's got a hand manual choke down here. See the knob? Manual choke, power glide automatic, rubber covering on the floors. It's got the hooded 62 mirror, which again, we've hardly ever seen in these